Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and these are your daily vitamins. So, as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Hello, Vince. I am from the UK. Fight for Black, Christine, C. Stan, Emperor Rex, One Muscle Power. I saw you in here. Silent D, Emperor Rex, Janice, Omari. All right, let's get into it. Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned in to the Queen. 444 watching me. Rain. All right, I see you, Kathy B. Workout 218. Pink Blue, Phillip. Let's get into it. Ayon and Trisha. Nessie X. Cherokee Descended Dale. Renee and the Agitator. Okay. So let's get into it, beloveds. But before we do talk about Chris and Will and this whole foolishness, let's talk about Biden. Listen to what Biden has to say. And by the way, just so you all know, despite all of the efforts and humanitarian aid and all of the money and the military weapons and volunteers that have been sent over to Ukraine, well, President Zelensky says that the West are cowards because I guess they're not doing enough quick enough to his satisfaction. So even despite they're doing all of this, he said they're cowards, honey. Okay, make that all make sense. Wonder how they like that. Okay, so Biden is to propose minimum tax on households worth over $100 million. Now I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Lights up, everyone, please like and share.
That, at least its continued force in American life, is possibly the tax code. Here's the background. The Federal Reserve says the median wealth for white families is almost 8 times that of black families and 5 times that of Hispanic families. President Biden's American Families Plan had proposed closing a nearly century-old loophole called Step Up in Basis that would have helped fix the problem, but lawmakers rejected it, and critics say that tax loopholes, this one in particular, have not enabled millions of minority families to live the American dream, not their version.
Law professor Dorothy A. Brown addresses the problem in her book, The Whiteness of Wealth, How the Tax System Impoverishes Black Americans and How We Can Fix It. Dorothy A. Brown joins us now. She is the Asa Griggs Candler Professor of Law at Emory University.
So, Professor, let's kind of clean up my jumbled intro there. That's on me. I mean, what you're saying, I think, is that the tax code has been an obstacle to helping black families gain property, and property is really where a lot of people's wealth resides. Do I have that right?
Well, almost. So what the tax law does every April 15th is see to it that Black Americans pay higher taxes than their white peers, because Black and white Americans engage in the same activity, but tax law impacts differently because we bring our racial identities onto our tax forms.
So unpack that for us a little bit. Yeah. So if white and black Americans are doing the same thing, how does the IRS see them differently or treat them differently?
So let's take marriage, right? So when 2 people get married, the tax law can increase your taxes or decrease your taxes. If you live in a single wage earner household where spouse A works in the paid labor market and spouse B works at home, you get a tax cut when you get married. If, on the other hand, both spouses work in the paid labor market, they don't get a tax cut and they're more likely to pay higher taxes. Well, what a surprise. Census Bureau data shows us white married couples are more likely to have a stay-at-home spouse and get a tax cut. Black married couples, like my parents, are more likely to have 2 wage earners and pay higher taxes. So when white and Black Americans get married, how we tax marriage varies depending on how many spouses work.
And this is just one example, right? I mean, so your thesis is that there's
Exactly.
there's an underlying wealth gap caused by our history in this country, difficulty gaining property, that property assets not accruing wealth over time, and then that's exacerbated by the way we've written our tax code.
That's exactly right,
Yeah.
Tony. That's exactly right.
And reading your piece, I know that you have had a personal experience with this. Once you became a tax professor yourself or an expert in taxes, you sat down to help your parents with their taxes, right? And that's when you discovered that,
Yes.
hey, married couples that both make about the same amount and they don't make over a certain amount, they're the ones who are kind of getting the screw put to them the hardest. Isn't that right?
That's exactly right. So I'm doing my parents' taxes, I'm doing my taxes, and I'm making more money than they are. And I'm supposed to be paying a lot more in taxes than they are, and I'm not. And I can't figure it out. It wasn't until I became a law professor and had the luxury of time that I stumbled into the answer. My parents were paying so much in taxes because they were married to each other.
Huh.
So interesting.
So does the federal government acknowledge this problem? And if so, how might they fix it? And how close are we to fixing it?
So, one, the federal government really doesn't acknowledge the problem because they're part of the problem. I had to become a detective to uncover this when really the Treasury Department and the IRS should be publishing statistics by race so that it doesn't depend on this academic's journey. So, Treasury announced in December that they were making first step toward talking about race and tax, but they really haven't done anything with respect to tax policy and race. So the IRS says they're colorblind, but we know from ProPublica reports, Black Americans in the rural South are more likely to be audited than their white peers. So in the absence of collecting racial data, we still have discriminatory effects.
So, Professor Brown, don't you propose that we get rid of all the marriage considerations altogether and just tax everyone as individuals, which is what the U.S. used to do?
Yes. That's exactly right. And we also, in addition to a marriage penalty, we have a singles penalty. So if you're married in a household of $50,000, your tax rate is lower than if you're single with a household of $50,000. So yes, I propose, like Canada and others, that we have single filing, no joint return, so that when you get married, your tax bill doesn't change.
Very interesting proposal. Worth some consideration.
I think the tax code is such a wild and weird thing. And if you begin to look at it closely, as Professor Brown has, you notice all kinds of issues.
It's true. And things that have developed through the years in response to specific situations that maybe no longer apply, right?
Yes, yes.
So interesting. Dorothy Brown, thank you so much for joining
us. The
us.
book is called The Whiteness of Wealth, How the Tax System Impoverishes Black Americans and How We Can Fix It. Professor Brown, thank you very much.
Okay, so I gather you all likely didn't even know how they do these things. That's just another way to be discriminatory towards Black people. Pay attention, because they know good and darn well that most Black families will have 2 adults working if you're married, rather than one sitting at home, because we don't often have the luxury of being stay-at-home moms and housewives and all of that, all right, due to the theft of our generational wealth by the powers that shouldn't be, no less. So pay attention. This is what they do. This is what they do. And this isn't the only thing. They charge us higher interest rates and things of that nature. And also, by your Social Security card, your Social Security number, they can tell whether you're Black or white. Pay attention, honey. They absolutely can. All right? Don't let them fool you. So at the end of the day, Terry Brown said, yes, I know, Queen, racist laws and codes. Yes, absolutely. But they want to tell Black people to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Miss us with it. Okay? That's what they can do, is miss us with it, honey. But let's talk about Zelensky, because clearly he said the West are cowards. Everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. Now listen to this. Okay, so Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused the West of cowardice on Sunday. Yeah, pretty much said they were cowards. Hold on. Okay, here we go. He said they were cowards, while another top official said Russia was trying to split the nation in two, like North and South Korea. Now, Zelensky made an exasperated plea for fighter jets and tanks to help defend his country from Russia's invading troops. Russia now says its main focus is on taking control of the eastern Donbas region, an apparent pullback from its earlier, more expensive goal, or more expansive goal, but one which is raising fears of a divided Ukraine. Now, speaking after U.S. President Joe Biden said in a lacerating speech that Russian President Vladimir Putin could not stay in power, words the White House immediately sought to try to downplay. Yeah, that's what they tried to do, as they often do. Now, Zelensky lashed out at the West ping pong about who and how should hand over jets and other weapons while Russian missiles attack, kill, and trap civilians, he says. But I thought they were beating Putin. Why are we having all these complaints? And after all the volunteers that have gone over there, and many of them Black people who are clearly coons, gone over there to help, why is this even going on? Why are we even having this discussion, right? Now, Zelensky also told independent Russian journalists on Sunday that his government would consider declaring neutrality and offering security guarantees to Russia, repeating earlier statements that would include keeping Ukraine nuclear free, he says. Now, he told reporters that the issue of neutrality and agreeing to stay out of NATO should be put to Ukrainian voters in the referendum after Russian troops withdraw. He said a vote could take place within a few months of the troops leaving. Then Russia quickly banned the interview from being published. Roskomnadzor, which regulates communications from Moscow, issued the ban, saying there could be action taken against the Russian media outlets that took part, which included those that are foreign media outlets acting as foreign agents. Russia-based outlets appear to comply with the ban, although the interview was published abroad. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all already know what Putin said he's going to do to the Russians over there. Any of their media outlets that are saying that this is in fact not an invasion, but actually a war. So, like I said, all the stuff they're doing for this man, Biden is really getting on my last nerve because he's going above and beyond the call of duty, as far as I'm concerned, to help Zelensky and the Ukrainians. Now, he's letting 100,000 of them come here. He's giving them numerous amounts of money, billions and even billions, right? And then all this humanitarian aid and sent over all these people to help. And at the end of the day, they're still complaining. Like, make that all make sense. Because I cannot. But hold on, I want to show you some plantation mammies, because I absolutely cannot with some Black people. I don't know how they become so foolish and just get caught up in other people's BS. But these same people don't have anything to say about the killings of their own Black people by the race soldiers. Let's get into it. I have to show you all this video. So ridiculous. Everyone likes up. Please like and share. I'm going to share my screen. Now, as you could see, those were two plantation mammies who had themselves painted in the colors of the Ukrainian flag to show their support for Ukraine. I'm sorry, how stupid did they look? Are they really serious? A place that's full of neo-Nazis and where you have to be warned if you're going over there to volunteer to help, that you may be in fact called the N-word or even a monkey, and you may see children playing with blackface. These are the norms. This is commonplace over there. But they're supporting them. They got their bodies painted, honey. They take attention whore to a whole new high, all right? All so foolish. I don't know what is wrong with some Black people. These are not the kind of Black people that I'm trying to appeal to, mind you. I don't have time. I do not have time. I do not. Biden just gave Ukraine another $100 billion. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. So now, yes, Queen, they look stupid, and they are indeed likely serious. Yes, they are serious, honey. They really thought they were doing it. And the agitator said the foolishness of it all. Five for Black said they look really stupid, Queen. Yes, they are stupid, honey. Let me tell y'all something. I wonder if Karen and Becky will return the favor back. Never. Oh, you know they won't. Fred said, ode to the biscuit. Right. Now, let's talk about this whole thing with Will Smith and Chris Rock. Here's the thing about this. I really didn't appreciate it like I told you all last night. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been doing that. Chris Rock handled it professionally as I would have. Will could have handled it better. But here's the thing I don't like. And he had all this angst that he would go up there and hit a black man in his face in front of everybody, right? Now, here's the thing. Some of you believe that it was staged. Some of you believe that it was real. Either way, it made a spectacle, a whole minstrel show straight from the chitlin circuit out of black folks, as far as I'm concerned. All right? And here's the thing. It's not like, some of the Hellman's crew doesn't get down and dirty and act ghetto and trailer parkish. I've told you numerous of times, shown you the footage, in fact. And we saw how they behaved and resorted to violence after they were upset about the election results. So when I say they should have been doing that in front of white folk, that's not why I'm saying it, because the white folk, we worried about what they think. No, here's the thing. That was entertainment for them, okay? They did nothing. Will Smith did nothing, shall I say, but liken himself and Chris Rock to a minuscule form of entertainment for the white folk. I mean, they got a kick out of that. If you don't think they did, honey, trust me, they did. All right? That's the talk of the town. My friend called me from work today and said that Karen came up to her and said, oh, what do you think about Will Smith? And she said, what are you talking about? She already knew what happened, but she was like, what are you talking about? Oh, he slapped the crap out of Chris Rock. All smiles, honey. It's all fun and games. And that's what I'm talking about. See, here's the thing. Back during slavery, they used to have what is called free-for-alls, right? And that's what they would have. And they would have the Negro Battle Royales, all right? And they would have black men. They would pit them against one another, honey. Sometimes they would get them all liquored up and drunk and have them fight to the death. That was entertainment for them. They love it. So at the end of the day, that's all that was. Thank goodness Chris Rock didn't hit him back, and then it would have been a real ghetto-fied brawl for them to enjoy. Okay? That's all I'm saying. The whole thing was just so ridiculous and unnecessary and uncalled for. And here's the thing. A lot of you, I saw comments and stuff all over the internet where some people said, oh, that's what Chris Rock gets. Will was defending his wife. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all sound real silly. First of all, Jada is a plantation mammy. Did y'all forget how she sat up there and tried to criticize and chastise Snoop Dogg when he said something about what's that woman's name, Susan Rice? Yeah, y'all remember that when she was taking up for Gayle King? So she was taking up for Gayle King and Susan Rice, plantation mammies. So that makes her a plantation mammy as far as I'm concerned, honey. And then she said when Snoop Dogg called Gayle a dog-faced bitch, she felt like he was saying that to her. And how did you feel like he was saying it to you, Jada? Please dismiss me with it. And then some of y'all were talking about, well, she has alopecia, she has autoimmune disorder, she has cancer and all this, that, and the third. First of all, she don't have cancer, and she doesn't have an autoimmune illness, except for the alopecia, which that is an autoimmune illness. You all were talking like she had lupus or something else that made her get the alopecia. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. Alopecia is very common, all right? And though her hair has fallen out, at some point, if she gets the proper treatments, maybe it'll grow back. But the whole thing is this. Will Smith got so mad about a joke. Chris Rock likely didn't even know she had alopecia. And then some of y'all were saying, well, she said it on Instagram. Who cares? I didn't even know she had it until last night when y'all told me in the chats. Just because she said it publicly doesn't mean everybody got the memo. All right? So please stop trying to act like Chris Rock was just being so nefarious. And at the end of the day, here's what I find interesting. Some of y'all are such hypocrites. Now, y'all sat up there and thought it was okay for Dave Chappelle to say his jokes about transgenders. I thought it was okay, too, because it's just jokes, right? He didn't say anything disparaging about them as far as I was concerned. But some of y'all was like, yeah, they need to get off Dave Chappelle. Exactly, they did, because it's jokes. But then y'all want to get mad at Chris Rock for doing the same thing, telling jokes. And y'all gonna condone somebody putting their hands in somebody's face because they said something somebody didn't like? Well, let me come and slap one of y'all because y'all say something I don't like. Let's do that and see how you love it. Let's see if you have that same energy that you have for Chris Rock. Oh, he was defending his wife. Honey, his wife is a whole hoe. All right? If he didn't defend his wife against August Alsina's eggplant, he definitely shouldn't be defending her against a joke that Chris Rock told. Please make it all make sense. At the end of the day, there was displaced anger. Will Smith was mad not at Chris Rock, but because he was sitting there laughing, in case you missed it. He was sitting there laughing at that joke, honey, until Jada looked at him, gave him the side eye. Then he's like, oh, I got to get up and do something because his masculinity was challenged. But at the end of the day, all that showed to me was that Jada is the one who wears the pants in that relationship. When she says jump, he says how high, I guarantee you. And then y'all sitting there condoning the bullshites. I mean, their kids are a whole mess. Would you exactly call them model parents? I'm just curious. Their son is dating Tyler, the Creator, who, as far as I'm concerned, is a Satan worshiper, allegedly. And then, what's going on with Willow? Why were they allowing a 23-year-old man who was supposed to be Willow's friend or Jaden's friend to go into Willow's bedroom when she was a teenager? Y'all remember that? Because I do. Let's not forget that August Alsina was, in fact, Jaden's friend. So Jaden sleeping with her son's friend and y'all sitting there caping for. Please make it all make sense. Black women, I have to question some of you. I have to question some of you. And you think it's okay for two black men to be up there on the stage in brawl and violence and looking foolish, just like the very oppressors themselves? They're the ones who act like that, not us. At least I thought. But y'all condone it, some of you. Y'all thought it was all fine and dandy. Oh, he needed to be slapped. Did he really? Make sure you have the same energy when somebody slaps one of y'all in the mouth for saying something they didn't like, honey. Just because you disagree with what somebody said, or you might be offended or whatever, that is no cause ever for you to put your hands in somebody's face. And let me tell you something. He would not have done that to Jimmy Fallon, Jon Stewart. He wouldn't even done that to Billy Porter. Because you already know he don't want LGBTQ to give him that smoke. And had he done that to Billy Porter or Jimmy Fallon or Jon Stewart, I guarantee you they would have escorted his behind up out of there in handcuffs. But he did it to another black man, so it's cool. Just like it was cool during slavery. And let's talk about it. So listen to this. During slavery, a battle royale or a free-for-all battle was a common activity. Now, and you can read about that in a book called Slave Narratives, right? A folk history of slavery or something like that in the United States, where they actually talked to interviews. They actually had interviews of former slaves. Find out all about it. And that's exactly what Will Smith engaged in, as far as I'm concerned. Now, another kind of contest was a free-for-all. Now, this was when a ring was drawn on the ground, which ranged about 15 to 30 feet in diameter, depending on the number of contestants who engaged in the combat. Each participant was given a bag that was stuffed with cotton and rags into a very compact mass. Now, when so stuffed, the bags would weigh on average 10 pounds and was used by the contestants in striking their antagonist. Now, each combatant picked whichever opponent he desired and attempted to subdue him by pounding him over the head with the bag, which he used as a weapon of defense. Now, this was all done for kicks and giggles for the white folk to sit there and enjoy it, amuse themselves. Same thing that happened last night. That's all there was, a whole minstrel show, as far as I'm concerned, honey. I could never. And so, goes on to say that which they used the bags for defense or for a weapon, and which was used as an offending weapon. Now, the contest was continued in this manner till every combatant was counted out and a hero of the contest proclaimed. Sometimes two contestants were adjudged heroes, and it was necessary to run a contest between the two combatants before a final hero would be proclaimed. Then the two antagonists would stage a battle royale and would come into conflict, continue the conflict until one was proclaimed victorious. Sometimes these free-for-all battles were carried on with a kind of improvised boxing gloves, and the contestants were carried out on in the manner as previously described. Very often, as many as 30 darkies, that's what they called the black folk back then, darkies of the most husky type were engaged in this battle, and the contests were generally attended by large audiences of white folk, being staged during the period of favorable weather and mostly on Saturday afternoon. These physical exhibitions were the scenes of much controversial conflicts, gambling, excessive inebriation, and hilarity. Yeah, so it was all funny, and they got drunk and watched. Okay? And so they say even the United States military enjoyed a good Negro battle royale, and in many cases, the participants were even enlisted soldiers who were black. So I didn't find anything funny or amusing about that at all. It was quite foolish, uncalled for, and unprovoked. You should never put your hands on somebody just because of words that they said. And if you think that that was okay, what Will Smith did, well, that says a lot about you. That says a lot about you. And I guarantee you, you wouldn't have that same energy if somebody said something or you said something and somebody came up, slapped you like that. It'd be a whole nother story, I'm sure. Omari said pathetic. Absolutely. Vince I ever said there's a slapping game video on ScrewTube with a Caribbean commentator. One guy slapped the opponents. Yeah. They do all kinds of foolishness, honey. One guy slapped the opponent to another dimension. Sandra says, I agree that we can't go around hitting people because of jokes made about us, because we will be fighting constantly our whole life. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And my thing is, why did he hit Chris Rock when he didn't hit nobody else that's telling all these jokes about Jada and her entanglements? I'm sorry. Make it all make sense. Okay? And then some of y'all really got a little in your feelings because when y'all found out she had alopecia, and you're like, oh, women are sensitive about their hair. Well, if she's so sensitive about it, put on a wig. Put on a scarf. I'm just saying, get a lace front. Please, make it all make sense, honey. I don't have no empathy or sympathy for Jada. At the end of the day, she's a whole mammy as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I said it. I don't care who's mad. That's my opinion of her. Ever since she said what she said about Snoop and trying to get all mad with him for talking to Gail, the plantation mammy, after what Gail said about Kobe Bryant. Are you serious? Y'all need to decide what side of the fence you on, because some of y'all just be going back and forth, flip-flop. Say one thing today, the next thing you say something else. Some of y'all that was sitting there caping for Will too are some of the same ones who was all up and through the business about Jada and her entanglements with August Alsina. Yeah, it's true. But now y'all want to be all team Smiths. Please make it all make sense. It was all ghetto fighting and ghetto unfabulous and foolish. That's what it was. I mean, do we always have to make ourselves the source of entertainment? Is that what we always have to do? Do we just have to act the fool so other people can get glee and enjoyment out of it? I'm just curious. Gail said, well, let's hope Denzel, Samuel, and who else hold it down. Paris said, very ghetto. Yes, absolutely. Okay. RG3 Fitness said that was pedo behavior. That was wannabe thuggish behavior. Yeah, we all know he's not about that life. And then some people talk about, oh, he's from Philly. He's from Philly, and then what? Okay, he's from Philly, and your point. He wasn't doing none of that in Philly, honey. Trust and believe. And he knew who to try it with, because he would not have done that to Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, or anybody else in that range. Like I already told y'all, honey. LL, please, miss me with it, okay? He wouldn't have. And now people sitting up here talking about now somebody needs to slap Dave Chappelle. Oh, please try it if you think you're lucky. I saw that all over Twitter. They're talking about Dave Chappelle, you're next. Who's going to slap Dave Chappelle and why? See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all have to pay attention, because at the end of the day, you contradict yourself. You sat up there and said, Dave Chappelle's just telling jokes. Leave Dave Chappelle alone. Oh, he's just doing his job. But now, oh, Chris Rock can't do his without getting slapped. And pay attention to the disrespect. Do you know how disrespectful it is to slap a grown man in his face? To slap a grown person, period, but especially a grown man. You're going to slap him in his face? I'm sure I'd rather be punched. And I'm sure, let me tell y'all something. At the end of the day, like I said, props goes out to Chris Rock for, first of all, not flinching, not losing his stance, not rubbing his face, and not hitting his behind back, because many people would have. Okay? Many people would have. Lakita said, I dare a MF would. Okay? Will Dwight slapped him with the open hand. Yes. Yes. Honey, I might not have got with him right then and there, but honey, after the show was over, honey, I didn't have to give him that business. All right? Dave is going to destroy Will. Let me tell y'all something. We would have been rolling on the floor, okay, Millie? But my thing is, listen, I know some of y'all are ghetto and straight from the hood and all that. Y'all think it's nothing wrong with acting a fool anywhere and everywhere you go. But at some points, there's something called couth that you should have. And it's not about appeasing white folk or trying to look good in front of them. It's about having dignity for yourself. You see, some people don't get embarrassed or they don't get shamed because they have no shame. You see, some people will go out and act a fool anywhere. They don't care if they're wearing a tuxedo, a ball gown, they're on a red carpet, you name it. As we can see with Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Remember that time at the Fashion Nova events? Throwing shoes and all that. I'm just saying, I want y'all to pay attention to the trend. Y'all see how that was going, right? Also, niggard behavior, as far as I'm concerned, honey. Niggard behavior. Said, oops, they need a T.I. Oh, that's another person. He wouldn't have tried that with T.I. too, so he can miss me with it. All right? And that's it, Tell the Queen. Thank you, beloved. I'm just saying, you know, Mike West in August never got slapped. Exactly. And so if you didn't slap August Alsina, what you slapping Chris for? Everybody been talking about Jada since that whole entanglement thing. Have they not? And here's the thing. She loves to call people to the red carpet to try to check them. Right? Is she going to call Will to the red carpet? No. And then that son, Jaden. Did y'all see the little tweet he posted trying to brag about it? Like, said something like, that's how we do, or that's how we get down, or something like they all some bad aces around here. Sit down, Jaden. Okay? Sit down for your boyfriend, Tyler, the Creator, sits you down somewhere, please. Don't try to act like y'all about that life, because you're anything but. Okay? T.I. would have beat the air off his head. I might have said all of them are crazy. Let me tell y'all something. Right. It was a pretty slap by an effeminate pretty boy. Yes. Yes, it was. I mean, at the end of the day. Kelly said, left my ace off. Jaden did what? Honey, y'all know what he did. Y'all know about him and Tyler, the Creator. At the end of the day, let me say this, though. Let me say this. I wonder what Will would have said or how he would have felt when Jaden exposed Tyler, the Creator, for being his boyfriend. Because they had a little secret thing going. But Jaden got on stage at his performance and he said, Tyler, the Creator, is my mother effing boyfriend. And he been for 2 years. And Tyler was looking like, what? Say what now? And so clearly Tyler didn't want that out the bag right then and there. But Jaden let it out. Now, what if Tyler had gone up on that stage and slapped him like that? What would Will have had to say then? And Jada? I'm just curious. Another thing I didn't like is the fact that after it was done, all these people rushing to Will. Did anybody go see what the hell was wrong with Chris? Was he okay? Everybody, did y'all notice how everybody, Tyler Perry, Denzel, they all running over there to check on Will Smith. Calm down, just brush it off. Did anybody bother to go see how Chris Rock was doing? He was the one that was assaulted. And then Will got up there with that little fake cry me a river tears when he accepted his award and all that. Please miss me with it. Talking about he's been called by God to protect his family, protect women. First of all, honey, you weren't protecting Jada from nothing but some words. And for all y'all foolish black women who was out there, yeah, I'm talking to you. All these black women who was out there trying to compare Will getting mad and slapping somebody over words spoken in a joking form. Y'all trying to compare that to black men not protecting black women. Please sit down. Please sit down. You cannot compare that. Okay, it's not to be compared. Please. It is not to be compared. Y'all sit up here giving Will props like he really did something. He didn't do nothing but make a fool of himself. You sitting there embarrassing yourself and Chris Rock over a broad that just laid up with a son's friend. Anyway, I cannot. Hold on, who said that? Somebody said, remember, Queen, you did a video on Will's sweet ass. C-Stamp. Yes, I did. Him and that whole little thing he had going on with Benny Medina. Honey, he didn't sit down somewhere. Benny Medina. Okay, and where's Dwayne Martin? Did he slap him? I bet he did, but not with his hands. Please, especially with it. Allegedly. So anyway, honey, I'm just saying. Will should not even have gotten an award after that. No, and if he did get the award, he should have gotten it at home because they should have put him up out of there. That's what they should have done. Okay, you just get to slap. Can you imagine Chris Rock after the fact and everybody giving this man a standing ovation, standing and giving him a round of applause after he won his award and got up there crying those tears, trying to make himself the victim? I like his nerve. I like his nerve, honey. If I was Chris Rock, he'd had to see me outside. I'm just saying, honey. Michael Riddick says, so you don't promote violence, you promote peace. I'm sorry. Are you new to this channel? I absolutely do not promote violence, but I do promote the right for people to defend themselves at all times. And that contains physical assaults and verbal assaults as well. All right. I do condone people defending themselves. Now, if Chris Rock had hauled off and knocked him back, slapped him back, honey, it would have been well deserved. But Chris Rock had class. Something that money can't buy. And that's just facts. Oh, yeah. And they said Kanye West couldn't perform because of some stuff he said on social media. But y'all gonna let him sit up there, he assaulted somebody. And just so y'all know, they have different types of rules for the Academy Awards. And violence is not one of them. Okay, you're not supposed to be in there acting violent and all that. And then they tried to come back later on and say that they thought very seriously about putting Will out. They didn't think about nothing. They didn't think about it. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. How you know that they love it when Black people make a spectacle of themselves for their own amusement, entertainment, is because they showed the footage. They didn't cut the footage. They didn't delete the footage. They didn't pan the camera. They let it all play out for all to see. They knew what they were doing, honey. All right? They knew what they were doing. So please, they love for Black people to do stuff like that. So they can say, see, look at them. They're animals. This is how they behave. Even though we know who really does and acts like that. Don't think his Oscar should be taken. They didn't have no awards back from Harvey, and he did take no awards back from Harvey, and he did worse. I don't know what Harvey did. He hit somebody. What could he do worse than that at the Oscars? I didn't say they should take it back, but they should have put him up out of there. And if he got the award, he should have gotten it at home. It should have been brought to him or shipped to him, as far as I'm concerned. Evro says, when those same men attack another to defend your women's honor, will you stay loyal to your man when he's hauled to jail for a few years? Are you asking me that personally? Honey, my man wouldn't have to get hauled to jail. He wouldn't have to get hauled to jail, honey. All right. At the end of the day, not for self-defense. When you're defending yourself and somebody else, that's called self-defense. I thank you, honey. 69 said, right, Queen. Joe Wilson, is that racism? They keep pressing replay. They enjoyed it. Yes, they absolutely did. Vince I Am said they allowed it to be broadcasted. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Black Women Stand Up said it was a damn joke. Will played himself. Yes, he sure did, trying to act like a tough guy. Here's the thing that makes him look so even more stupid. Everyone saw him sitting there smiling. Everyone saw him sitting there laughing at the joke himself till he looked over and saw Jada was rolling her eyes and clearly pissed. Then he felt like, okay, let me just get up here and defend my woman. Let me go up and, say something. But you know what? Y'all remember that interview when Will Smith admitted that he was intimidated by Tupac Shakur? Right? Yes. He was intimidated by Tupac. He wouldn't have tried that with him, but he tried that with Chris Rock. Yeah, he tried that with Chris Rock. And Chris Rock was about to say something because if y'all paid attention, Chris said, I could say, and then he looked over that way and somebody said something to him and he didn't say it. Somebody probably told him, don't say nothing else. Honey, if that had been Dave Chappelle, the jokes would have been riding all night long, honey. They wouldn't have been able to stop it. I promise you. Will Smith just dragged BLM causes down the drain. LaWanda said, right, Queen, I couldn't believe they didn't cut the footage. Oh, honey, they're not going to cut the footage when black people are acting niggering. That's what they're not going to do. Had that been with some of them, honey, we wouldn't even be seeing it. We'd just be hearing about it, honey. It's an afterthought. And then when we heard about it, they tried to minimize it like it wasn't even that serious. But now it's the slap heard around the world. Pay attention to the propaganda, honey. Yes, that's how they get down. But anyway, at the end of the day, I guess they accomplished what they wanted, honey, by airing that footage. Because the Oscars, nobody was checking for them. And quite frankly, had that not even happened, I wouldn't even have known the Oscars was on last night. Okay, and many of you probably wouldn't either. Another thing is, you know, some people were saying that Will was so mad because Chris cracked the joke on them one time before. That was in 2016. Y'all remember when Jada wanted everybody to boycott the Oscars because Will didn't get nominated? I think it was for that movie Concussion. The movie was lame. It wasn't worth being nominated for, as I'm concerned. But she wanted them to boycott the Oscars. And Chris cracked the joke about it while they weren't there. And so some people said, oh, that's why he was still mad. Honey, if he was still mad from a joke told 6 years ago, please miss me with X. Honey, that's just also crazy. And even what he said then was just a joke. It wasn't insulting. It's not like he called Jada a hoe, which she is. It's not like he called her a plantation mammy, which she is. I'm just saying, these are my opinions, honey. Feel free to disagree. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm about to roll up out of here. I just wanted y'all to pay attention. Did you, Tim McDaniel Shabazz said, did you hear what Michi X said about a queen? Yes, I did. I did. A slap. I will kick him in the nads after. Okay? Let me tell y'all something, honey. At the end of the day, there was no excuse for it as far as I'm concerned. And please don't sit there and try to tell anybody else that Will was protecting his wife. No, he was trying to protect his ego. I want y'all to pay attention, honey. This was all about ego. Remember how I told y'all just last week that some people be up in their ego and they try to be too prideful. But remember, pride goes before the fall. Will Smith wasn't protecting Jada Pinkett. He was protecting his ego. He was sitting there laughing until he looked over there and saw the look on Jada's face. And then knew Jada was going to be looking at him to say and do something. So then, in order to keep his ego intact and look like he was the man of the house, he went up there and did that. That's what he did. Okay, so don't think he was protecting Jada, honey, because if he was so bent out of shape about what Chris said about Jada in the first place, he wouldn't have been laughing. He wouldn't have been laughing. So y'all who said that he was protecting his wife can miss me with it. Okay? At the end of the day, even if he did want to check Chris about it, he could have waited till the show was over and did it with dignity, style, and class. And that's why I tell y'all, all black people are not kings and queens, honey. Some of y'all act like dust. Some of y'all act ratchet and like hood rats. So please don't get mad when somebody doesn't address you as king or queen, because everybody black ain't no king and queen, honey. That's facts. Was Will acting like a king last night? No, he wasn't. Chris Rock was, though. Chris Rock was carrying himself like royalty, while Will Smith allowed himself to slip down into the gutter, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, with that all being said, let me close up out of here. Another thing, let me say this to you all. Like I tell my beloveds who follow my spiritual channel, Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents More Than Meets the Third Eye. If you haven't subscribed, please do. But we'll be back in effect this Saturday. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, some of y'all thought that was all perfectly fine. It absolutely wasn't. And y'all think it's cute to see black people fighting publicly, acting like animals, when in fact we should be trying to unify. What kind of example does that set? Right? What kind of example does that set? You don't put your hands on somebody because they said something you disagree with. Is that what you teach your children? That if somebody says something you don't like, they can just go up and slap them in their face? Is that what you teach your children at home? I'm just wondering, for those of you who seem to think it was perfectly fine, good, and dandy that Will Smith slapped that black man in his face. Y'all think that's what y'all teach y'all kids? Because he could have waited till after it was over and had a discussion with him, man to man, one-on-one, mano y mano. That's what he could have done. And if you wanted to fight, you could have done that after too. You didn't have to act like that. He tried to embarrass that man. That's what he tried to do because he was prideful. That's what that was. And then he walked off like he did something, going to strut off. Dude, you the same Negro that was on Benny Medina's back like a little kid when you was a whole grown man. Please, honey, don't try to act tough. Will Smith, you might be plenty of things, honey, but tough, it's not one. It's not one. So, that all being said. Yes, honey, 69, she is a whole mess. Absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, honey. Please. Some of them wouldn't even qualify as the royal food. Exactly, right? Exactly. TSW said the excuse was to keep everybody occupied today talking about it, being distracted. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, what is Gumby and Bambi doing? I don't know what Gumby and Bambi doing, honey. But as long as we know about these tax probes and all that stuff that I just discussed. And here's the thing. Like I told y'all before, you may have missed the memo. You can't be distracted when you use the right and left side of your brain, honey. When you have the ability to be multifaceted and you can think about more things than one. See, the people who get distracted are the people who are one-track minded. They can only focus on one thing at a time. They get distracted. That's how that goes. All right. You see how I just gave you the pertinent news first and then use this. And just so you know, honey, I use this to get y'all in here so I can give you the first news. Because one thing I know about black folk is y'all love some juicy gossip and some negativity, low vibrational. So for me to get the real news out, I put this in the title so y'all showed up. And as you can see, it worked. Joke's on you, boo-boo. Anyway, with that all being said, honey, the queen is never distracted, beloveds. Never. A revolutionary's work is never done, honey. However, I can get y'all in this chat. That's what I'm going to do. Pay attention. I pulled this on y'all plenty of times. Huh? Y'all ain't caught on yet. But anyway, Critical Thinker said, this is why I don't watch Hella Lie Vision. Right. This whole escapade was a lie. Observe. Go on, Critical Thinker. Paris said, I would have did a WW move. Okay. The agitator said, Will and Jada needs to be concerned about their children instead of worried about a woman who aired out her dirty deeds. Exactly. They do need to be worried about their children because they're a whole hot mess as far as I'm concerned and clearly confused. All right. I mean, didn't the son want to be emancipated from them when he got old enough? I'm just saying, honey, they need to be worried about other things. Exactly. Instead of jokes that someone told, all of that, honey. Walked off stage like George Jefferson said, Riddle, he absolutely did. He absolutely did, beloved. Oh, C-Stan said, Chris' reaction made me sad. Abusive behavior is not called for. Yeah, it made me mad that he slapped that black man in his face. I don't like that. I don't like that. That was uncalled for. I don't, first of all, like to see black on black crime, and that's what that was. I don't like to see black people fighting and acting foolish towards one another. If somebody black says something you don't like, sit down and try to talk it out. If you can. I mean, they easily could have sat down and had a discussion after the facts. That was all unnecessary. How are we ever going to unify collectively when we have Negroes sitting condoning bullshit like that? Oh, he deserved to get slapped. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. How are we going to get together and unify collectively when that's how some of you all want to think? Giving shout outs and all that over foolishness. I bet you if one of your children had said something and they were older and Will Smith went up there and slapped them, you wouldn't be having that same energy. Y'all need to sit down somewhere, honey. Y'all just, you know what? Y'all just be picking and choosing popularity contests. Whichever celebrity you like, you just go along with it. It don't matter what they did or said. That's how y'all do with YouTubers too. Y'all do the same thing. Y'all just go along with whatever sounds good, looks good, or suits your narrative. Forget what's right and what's wrong. That doesn't even matter to some of you. Anyway, I mean, did y'all for once think about how embarrassing that was for Chris Rock? I mean, I'm sure he was embarrassed. Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be? And he was smiling the whole time that Will was walking up there. Surely he didn't think Will was going to hit him. He probably thought he was going to whisper something to him or say something smart. Anyway, that was a sucker move as far as I'm concerned. Then he going to walk off. Like he really did something. Please, don't do the George Jefferson strut. And now today they got all these jokes out in Chris Rock. Isn't that something? Talking about what did Chris Rock have when he woke up this morning? Fresh Prince. I mean, y'all got jokes. Y'all got jokes until the joke's on you. Till the joke's on you. Let me read a few more of these comments and then I'm out of here like a light. Will wasn't wrong for that. Well, that's your opinion, beloved. Mine is different. And he was wrong for it. I don't see how he was right for that when he didn't do nothing to August Alsina. Yeah. And if I was Chris Rock, I would have really gone in on them darn jokes after that. After he slapped me, I'd have been like, whoo, I bet you that's going to hurt all the way till August. All right? Please. I'd have roasted him and his wife after that for the rest of the show. Renaissance Woman says, I feel so sad for Chris. He kept his cool quite well. Yes, he did. And I'm going to tell y'all, the people who sit up there giving Will ups, big ups, and props for that, that's kind of stuff y'all do. Y'all will sneak somebody. Y'all will catch somebody off guard. And y'all can't control yourself. Because all that showed me was that Will obviously has a lack of discipline, a lack of self-control. That's what that shows me. A lack of self-control. That's all I'm saying, honey. But they worried about Kanye because Kanye can't control his mouth. Will Smith can't control his hands, but they don't have a problem with that. Pay attention. And like I said, they didn't do anything. The Academy Award, they tried to make all these Mayo-covered excuses, talking about, oh, well, we didn't have time. We only had 45 minutes. We couldn't have gotten everybody together to take a vote. Take a vote? What you need to take a vote for when y'all just saw that man assault that man and y'all got it in the rules and guidelines and bylines and all that, that you can't be carrying on like that. Where was security? Nobody went and got them? Talking about they didn't have time. They only 45 minutes. Miss me with it, honey. Will Smith had to hit a white person or somebody from LGBTQ like Billy Porter. Honey, they'd have carried him up out of them handcuffs, please. It wouldn't have been no ifs, ands, nor buts. And the thing is, if he'd have slapped Billy Porter, Billy Porter would have started windmilling on him and slapped him right back. I bet you that. But that's what he wasn't going to do, honey. He knows who to mess with. And that's what I don't like about the whole thing. That's what I don't like about it. He knew that he could try that with Chris Rock. That's what he knew. He would never have done that to Jon Stewart. Please miss me with this. Y'all sitting up there giving him ups and props because he defending Jada. Defending Jada? You talking about the same wife that he allowed August Alsina to sleep with, according to August himself, said Will gave him permission. So you can give another man permission to sleep with your wife, to have intimate relations with your wife, but you're going to hit somebody for telling a harmless joke? Oh, okay, please. Anyway, honey, I absolutely cannot. D. Love said, Queen, not windmilling. Honey, you know Billy Porter would have been windmilling on him real quick, honey. Yes. So with that all being said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. Don't y'all be out here in these streets throwing rocks at the penitentiary because you want to throw hands because somebody said something you don't like. Now, right? Don't do that. Especially and specifically if you don't have that same energy for the wannabe would-be if they could be supremacists, because some of y'all don't. But y'all will sit up there and condone that black on black crime. One black man embarrassing another and hitting him in his face. Y'all really thought that was okay, right? Yeah, miss me with it. All right, miss me with this. Because that was not okay. It was not okay. Period. Now, that all been said, you're welcome, Tracy, beloved. That all been said, Billy Porter would have, hold on, let me go back to these comments, honey. Billy Porter would have want that hard rock. Say what? Honey, let's not get vulgar. Not Hard Rock Cafe either. Pay attention. Critical thinker, I cannot with you. You are banished from the queen for the rest of this day. Okay? C-Stan said Jada bitch so hard about blacks in the Oscars, but can't say a damn joke. Pathetic. Exactly. Exactly. Okay? And you know, that's another thing about Jada, because Chris Rock told a joke about her in 2016, honey, but I was telling jokes about her too. My thing was she was sitting up there trying to get black people to boycott the Oscars, not because she was mad because it wasn't any black people nominated, but because it was Will wasn't nominated. Please, when has Jada ever stood up for black folk? Y'all sitting there standing up for her like she's doing Harriet Tubman, like Cory Booker called Ketanji Brown Jackson last week. Then now y'all got Jada's Harriet Tubman, huh? Is that what y'all got? Oh, she has alopecia, her hair's falling out. She has autoimmune illness. Sit down somewhere. Sit down, okay? So please. At the end of the day. So that all being said, honey, I cannot tell it. And Jada was into women at one time also. And likely still is. Very disappointed at Will. He was laughing and Jada gave a smile. And Jada gave a smile and turned her side way towards him. Yeah, when he saw she was ticked off, that's when he got ticked off. Right? Or pretended to be. It's all a mess, honey. Queen, you saw how Will walked off after that slap? Yeah. Strided off, honey. That's what he did. He didn't walk off, honey. He pranced off. Okay, no less. He pranced off that stage, honey. He didn't walk. He pranced off, honey, like he was 5 inches off the ground, floating. He levitated off the stage, honey. At that point, honey, he had done his thing, honey. That's what he wanted to do after he slapped Chris. Talk about my wife, bitch. That's what he really wanted to do, honey. Please miss me with it, Will Smith. All right. Anyway, I cannot. And was he prancing like critical thinkers are so foolish? Said, was he prancing like a peacock queen? Critical thinker, let me just put you on out my chat. You are a mess. Yes, that's what he was doing, honey. Like a peacock. Absolutely. Okay. Blessed with Melanie says, it's not a coincidence that Jada boycotted the Oscars, which decreased their numbers and now being used for their ratings and distractions. Okay, absolutely, honey. I wouldn't put it past them, beloved. But at the end of the day, like I said, honey, whether it was fake, staged, or whatever, it still made them look like a minstrel show. An entertainment for the white folk, just like back in the day with our ancestors, honey. Sad but true. Me and Will would still be rolling around on the floor, says Robert. Okay. He clearly tried it. He clearly tried it. Prophetic Ministry said, I hope Jada don't get Will killed. Trust me, she won't, honey, because Will knows who to try that mess with, honey. He knows who to try it with, okay? Please. Could y'all imagine him trying that mess with Ice Cube? Please, honey, it wouldn't happen. Okay? Jim said Chris should sue him. You know what? He's not going to sue him, honey. They probably have already made up by now after Will got back there and cried and begged his pardon, honey. He did all that for show, for the cameras, honey, and for Jada, because she made that face and let him know that she didn't like it. At the end of the day, I'm sorry that she has alopecia. You know, that can be very devastating. Like I said, that's an autoimmune illness that makes your hair fall out. But at the end of the day, I don't know if Chris Rock knew that. And him calling her G.I. Jane was not that bad as far as I'm concerned. He could have said a whole lot worse. And after that slap, he should have, as far as I'm concerned. Mustard said, yeah, I noticed his walk after he slapped him. Very, how you doing? Yeah, right. How you doing, honey? Right. Absolutely. So anyway, everyone please like and share. Gail said, Queen, when's your next comedy show? Duskin Brooks said, Queen, I love it. Y'all are so crazy, honey. I love y'all, all right? So listen, you all enjoy the rest of this lovely evening. Make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope to see you all in the next chat. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but